Today I'm going to tell you about the depth at corner and who I think the starters are going to be going into fall camp. And all that's coming up after the bump.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time here, consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Alright, so today I'm going to tell you about the depth we have at corner and why it looks really, really good. But first, a few news and notes you need to know. The Cleveland Browns and HBO announced the Browns will be the subject of this year's Hard Knocks training camp series. It's one of the best sports documentary series we have, up there with Last Chance U. Love the way that they cover the personal stories of the teams. But I'm really excited about this because it means lots of Baker Mayfield, in addition to a few other Sooners like Donald Stevenson, and hopefully an Eric Wren and a DJ Ward, to say nothing of a Dom Alexander. Hard Knocks drops August 7th this summer. Now, a note on Texas, because we have to talk about this whole "is Texas back" BS. So allow me to go into some detail about Texas is back. The Patriot News put together quite the astounding list showing the richest college football programs in the country. No college football fan was surprised to find out Alabama football ranked among the top 5 earners, bringing in more than $108 million during the 2016-17 fiscal year. What some were surprised to see was Texas is the wealthiest program in the country, and not by a skinny margin. The University of Texas football program raked in more than $141 million during the 2016-17 fiscal year. The second wealthiest program, Tennessee, at $111 million. I stopped being good at math when they started mixing letters with numbers, but even the budding English professor in me can see Texas made substantially more money than Tennessee, and more than twice as much as Texas A&M and Nebraska combined. Texas also turned more than $97 million in profit during that time. Longhorns coach Tom Herman made $5.25 million during the first year of his contract, and if he survives to 2021, he'll earn $6.25 million. He ranks 8th in the country in annual salary, just in front of Texas Christian coach Gary Patterson, who at least played in a conference title game last year. Herman could pick up a $100,000 bonus if he wins a Big 12 title, but based on last season's 7-6 record, and that the most valuable player in the 2017 Texas Bowl was UT punter Michael Dixon, let's not hold our breath on Tom Herman lifting the Big 12 title trophy, which is getting close to establishing residency enough to vote in the state of Oklahoma. For giggles, let me add Oklahoma coach Lincoln Riley ranked 52nd on the list of coaching salaries in 2017, behind North Carolina State coach Dave Doeren, who has not won a conference title, nor coached a Heisman Trophy winner, nor played in the college football playoff. Oklahoma has an all-access pass to college football champagne room, and looks like it's going to stay here, making it rain for a while. Texas is so ratchet it can't get past the club bouncer. It's an open question as to when college football's richest program will be back, and will Texas be back by the time the Longhorns have to face college football's best program in Alabama in 2022 for its just announced home and home series. Longhorn fans are fond of saying Alabama is 1-1-7 all time against Texas. They are not fond of saying that one win came during the only game between the two that mattered, the 2009 BCS National Championship game. The game was not only a watershed moment for Alabama, but for college football. It supplanted the Southeastern Conference as the premier league in the country atop college football for a 4th straight year, and atop the corpse of a Big 12 team for the 2nd straight year. The game vaulted Crimson Tide coach Nick Saban to the top of the college football food chain, where he has lived the life of a great white shark. The Tide has never had to evolve because college football has never caught up, and while some have taken their shots and won, Clemson, Ohio State, Florida State, Auburn, the Tide have been a favorite to wear the national crown every year for the last decade. Texas has been the punchline to most college football jokes for the same amount of time. In fact, Texas hasn't put together a 10-win season since it lost the national title game to the Tide. The Longhorns have had as many winning seasons as losing seasons since 2010, and has given the mantle of perennial foe to OU over to TCU, Oklahoma State, and even Baylor in recent years. Texas recruiting has suffered mightily for it as well. When a 5-star wide receiver out of a suburb of Austin, Texas, says he chose Ohio State over Texas because he didn't think he'd develop into an NFL player at UT, there are bigger problems than just not playing for conference titles. But it wasn't so long ago that Texas could be counted on to be a top 10 team ready to walk into the Cotton Bowl to play the Sooners in a game the nation knew mattered, not for bragging rights in a regional rivalry, but for national supremacy. It wasn't so long ago that Texas won a national title over a team that many thought couldn't be beaten. It wasn't so long ago that Vince Young clenched that rose between his teeth and made known Texas wasn't going anywhere. Now we're forced to wonder where Texas is gone. No, Texas isn't back, but it sure as hell would be nice if it were. Now let's talk about what we have at corner, and it's a lot. For the first time in a very long time, secondary coach Kerry Cooks might be able to rotate his corners kind of like wideouts. We know that Parnell Motley is going to be the #1 corner. He showed signs early last season that he was not only good enough to play, but good enough to take over as the go-to shutdown corner over a veteran in Jordan Thomas. Now what's really cool is that the two Tres, Tre Brown and Tre Norwood, have stepped up during the spring. We know Tre Norwood could play. We saw great things from him in the Rose Bowl, but now we know Tre Brown wants a shot at that #2 spot. And that was the coolest part for me about watching the spring game, was seeing those two young guys look polished and ready to play. That's on top of, we didn't see a lot of Justin Broiles at corner, though he looked pretty good playing safety and he might make the move. And we didn't see any Jordan Parker, who's coming back from injury, who I would expect to compete with the two Tres for a starting job at corner. To say nothing of Miguel Edwards having the only pick of the spring game and early enrollees showing out. I don't think that Bookie's going to figure in the corner because I think his value is going to be shown at the nickelback position, which I think of more of as a safety position, and possibly playing some free safety over the top. I think Bookie's going to move to the strong safety, the free safety spot, when Mike Stoops goes to his base 3-4 or a variation of a 4-2-5 to keep that kid on the field, because we know what kind of playmaker he can be. But right now, I think Parnell Motley and Tre Norwood will be your starters going into fall camp, but Tre Brown and Jordan Parker will have a lot to say about that. Alright, that's it for me. Deuces.